Hey guys, in this video we're going to be showing you how to build a professional workstation PC. Okay guys, this video is designed for those of you who want to build a professional workstation computer. If you're going to be doing 4K video editing, very intense graphic work, working with music production and recording constantly, always putting your PC at work, then this is going to be the PC for you. Okay, so step one is we want to create a budget and a parts list. So know exactly what you want to achieve with your workstation, and that'll determine all the parts you're going to need. And here's my reference for all the parts that I got for what I'm going to need. And we'll start off with the computer case, which is a Thermaltake Level 10 GT Snow Edition. Amazing case. CPU went with the Intel i7-5820K Haswell 6-core, which is the 5th generation. Motherboard is an ASUS X99-PRO USB 3.1, which is double the speed of 3.0. RAM, G.SKILL TridentZ series, 32 gigabytes, 4 sticks. Graphics card is a Quadro M4000, which is a new card with 8 gigabytes of RAM. Hard drive is a Samsung 2.5 1 terabyte SSD. It's big and it wasn't that expensive. Power supply is a Thermaltake Tough Power TPD, 750 watts. Cooler, I decided to go with the H100 Corsair Hydro series, which is a all-in-one water cooling system. And yes, card reader, needed a card reader because I'm going to be doing video, which is the ATEC Flash Pro 77, which has like, what, 4 USB 3.0. Oops, dropped my Blu-ray player. Actually, I did not drop it. It was a gag. Okay, so step 2 is actually building the computer. Now, make sure that you are grounded so that you don't cause any electrostatic discharge and damage your boards. And keep track of all your parts, because if you don't, you will probably lose them. So the first step is installing the CPU. There is an indicator on the corner of the CPU and the motherboard. Align those, and when you set it in, make sure that it's secure, because when you close the hatch, it does take a little bit of force, and if it's not aligned, you will damage your pins and you will have wasted your money. My camera's doing a weird thing. I'm not sure what it is, but oh well. Okay, so once the CPU is installed, we will go ahead and install the memory, RAM. And depending on how you're going to do your cooler, it will determine how you're going to install your RAM. I just did it on the left side, and yeah. Okay, so I lost the video for the motherboard installation. I guess my memory card had run out of space before I even noticed. But it's not that bad. All you need to do is just take the chassis, lay it down flat. Take your motherboard, align it with the holes, and screw them in. It's pretty simple. Don't miss a hole. Just make sure that you get all of them. Now installing the power supply is pretty easy, pretty simple. Just clear out the path. Take the power supply, put it on the track, and push it all the way forward. And it's probably the easiest thing to install. Not bad at all. And then you just screw it in. So next, we're going to move on to the CPU cooler. Now, I wanted to go with the all-in-one water cooling system. Comes with 2 fans, the Corsair. Just make sure that you align your fans right, because I did it wrong with the push or pull. Now it's pulling when I wanted to push. So just make sure that you have it right. It has indicators, but just make sure those indicators are what it's going to be in the final position. Whatever. So installing the CPU cooler is probably the most, I would say, thorough task in building the computer. You just got to make sure everything is good. So I'm taking this cooler, and I had to remove the fan of my Thermaltake case that it came with to install this. So you might have to do that depending on what you get. And just be very careful not to damage anything, because some of the parts are really heavy. And this particular unit is a little bit difficult to manipulate, but it is not that bad. Just make sure that everything aligns and that it is safe and secure, and that it is not blocking or pinching anything else. Okay, so the next step in the CPU cooler installation is actually mounting it onto the CPU bracket. Just always want to make sure that everything aligns before you actually start installing the pieces. With my specific motherboard, I had standoffs, and the cooler, by the way, comes with a bunch of mounting hardware for both Intel and AMD. So just make sure that everything aligns, and then when you're ready, take the plastic off of it. It has a thermal paste inside. Don't touch it. I did not touch it. It looks like I did, but I did not touch it. Okay. Yes, and also never touch the surface of the CPU, because the grease and oil on your hands can cause interference with the cooling process. Continuing on, just make sure that when you screw these things in, that they are nice and secure, and that you are not killing the thread, or that they are not difficult to screw in, because if it is, something is wrong. Not that bad. By the way, one really cool thing about this cooler is that it has a light on the Corsair symbol, and it can change colors to whatever you want if you install the hardware. And it's pretty neat, and it is not loud. Actually, it's not loud. I saw some reviews online that said it was loud, but it's not. All right, so after the CPU is installed, now it is time to install the drives. So I wanted to go ahead and install my card reader first, and there it is. My mic is doing something really weird, but I don't really have time to fix that up. It's not a big deal. So I'm gonna install that. Now it is actually a pretty cool piece. It can do micro SD, 4 USB 3.0, and your standard SD card reader. I don't know what the other two are. So a cool, unique thing about this case is you can take the hard drive, plug it into the tray, and just slide it in, and it's already connected in the back. Okay, yes, so wiring does indeed suck. However, it's not that bad. Just don't get overwhelmed. And these are the main connections that you're going to have with your power supply and chassis. It's going to connect the motherboard, the CPU. You're going to have a few plugs for your USB, all the way from the standard to 3.1. The audio on board has a connection. Your CPU cooler and the chassis fans are connected. Your drives with power and SATA, whatever. Your case, the power reset buttons and all that, and then your graphics card. And that's pretty much it. It's not that bad. It's really not. When you get to the point where you're going to be wiring, you just like, oh man. And that's pretty much why I didn't film, because I'm like, you know what, I don't have the patience for this. I'm just going to get it done. But when you are wiring, just make sure that you're plugging it into the right thing. Make sure that there's no loose connections, because if there's loose connections, you can have sparking, and you don't want sparking or anything like that. So yeah, make sure that it's connected. And the most important part actually is on the bottom right corner of the motherboard is the lights and the power button. Just make sure those are in the right orientation. And this is kind of what it's going to look like when it's all set and done. And this particular case, and in most cases, you will have a cable management system where you can feed the wires through the back and then back inside, so you don't have wires just everywhere like crazy hair or something like that. Okay, so the exciting part of this build was the graphics card. Finally getting to installing the Quadro M4000 card from NVIDIA. And it is actually pretty solid. The quality is amazing. It has this nice metal finish to it. And it definitely beats the K4200, which I almost got. I think it's about $100 more with 4 more gigabytes of RAM and also more CUDA cores. So if you're thinking about a graphics card in that price range, you should definitely get the M4000. So final assembly. Now that we're here, just make sure that all your components are installed correctly. Double check your wiring. Ensure that there is no loose hardware or connections, no screws or anything that can short circuit anything. When you're ready, when everything is done and you've double checked, then you can turn on your power. Just make sure that your keyboard and mouse is connected if you're going to be setting things up. Go to your BIOS and set things up first. Okay, and that should be it. That is the build, and this is sort of what everything looks like. And as you can see, it's pretty clean. It's not that bad at all. Now the most terrifying part is powering on And so here we power on, and the lights are on and everything is good. And when it powers on and you look at the screen and the screen shows that everything is there, then you're pretty good. Okay, so now we set up our BIOS and install the operating system, and then you should be all set from there. Yeah, everything is done. So I'm actually using this computer right now to do the editing of this video, and everything is running smoothly, no issues, no crashing, no nothing. So that is a successful build. Thank you for watching this section, and back to my face. So that is it. You guys have any questions, just let me know. And if you love this case, because this thing is amazing, just give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You guys have a good one, and we will talk later. Peace, my friends.